Welcome to Breakfast Central on News Central. It is Thursday and we are back on the air like we never left. What I'm talking about I'm talking about myself, Joe Hansen, and the gentleman who's also here with me. Good morning to you, Benga.
Good morning, Joe Hansen. It's good to be back, and we're missing our dear sister, Olive.
Yeah.
You know, all work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
But like
sometimes we need to make the body that makes the money rest. You need to service the oil, change, rest, so we can always perform at an optimum level. Good morning and welcome to Breakfast Central. Some good news today. Very much needed good news. But
that's right.
There's still so many kidnapped victims out there. But, you celebrate little wins. And in case you're wondering what I'm talking about, stay tuned. We'll let you know what this good news is. So many things happening in the country, Mr. President, talking tough. We can see movements, different movements in the security sector in dealing with this present danger that is facing our country. And I'm very hopeful and positive that that these problems are surmountable and we will deal with them decisively. Once again, you're welcome to Breakfast Central.
That's right. Well, Olive is on leave. Did you see that? Olive is on leave, so she won't be joining us here today up until she's through with her leave, and then she will return. But don't worry, not to fear. You've got the two gentlemen who are here to ensure that we hold things down as usual. Like Benga had rightly mentioned, so many interesting stories right from yesterday night. And that's what our Wake Up Conversations is made for. It's made for one or two things. One, to keep you updated with stories that you may have missed, and two, to bring them to light, looking at some of the possibilities, analysis, and so on and so forth. But we're going to start off first with the reuniting of the kidnapped girls. Yes, they were kidnapped, and they finally reunited with their family members, and that happened in the early hours of today. News Central was on ground, as you know, a 24 hours station, and we were able to beam the searchlights, the torch, you name it, the lights, as it were, on the reuniting of the girls, the students, with their family members. We do hope that we'll be able to show you the footage right there on the screen so you can get to see what it looked like, just in case you missed it, because it happened during the early hours of this morning. Yes, I think it was a good reuniting with their family. It was good to see them reunited with their families, and that touchy moment. And that also highlights one of the key aspects that the president had mentioned in his state of security mention. But we'll bring to you footage and clips of that reuniting. There you have it, celebrations right there. It was indeed one that you would want to hold dear to your hearts, to see people so happy. And it also brings to light what really is important to people. It's just the fact that people want to be safe.
Safety.
Yeah, they want to be safe. They want to just live, as it were.
I mean, things are already tough the way they are, and then imagine being kidnapped in this conditions. I can only imagine the horror and the mental health of these poor kids. And sadly, as we're celebrating, we learned that one of the parents of the kidnapped kids, who had 3 wards kidnapped, fortunately passed away due to, depression, a heart attack, and as a result of this, because how do you expect any parent to sleep with both eyes closed, knowing that your children are in the bush, in the den of the kidnappers? So that's just the only dent to this kidnapping, to this celebrations rather. And we also hope, because we've been hearing from the presidency, one of the presidency spokesperson did say that, for example, the kidnappers in Eruku, in Kwara State, released the kidnapped victims because of a threat, because they knew the consequences of what was going to happen if they did not release those kidnappers. And it's raised lots of questions and debates that, okay, so why did they kidnap them in the first place? Is this still not a crime? And what do you mean by They know the consequences. Okay, now they know the consequences. Can you go after them? They've broken the law. That's what you call a non-kinetic threat. You know, told them that if you don't release them, you know what will happen.
Let it happen now. You see, we've said it time and time again, Benga, and it's starting to make us sound like we're becoming a broken record. Hence why I do not want us to dwell so much on what should be done as well. We all know what will be done, but somewhere in MAGA, as you can see there, the celebration was on this morning. It's good news to know that the girls are back reunited with their parents. You mentioned one of the parents who lost their life. No parent who want to see their children being taken from them, especially with the issue of the Chibok girls. You don't know what would happen at the Tapchi situation as well. So all of that would push heavy a lot of stress and pain on your heart.
Imagine all sorts of
while
scenarios.
you continue to imagine all sorts of issues and scenarios, you know. But let's start off the wake-up conversation officially this morning. Joining in celebrating with the parents in MAGA in Kebbi State. This time, the optics are once again brought to the fore. Now, when we say optics, we mean what we're about to share with you is one that you would argue or ask, is this the right time to say it? Or is it the right time to actually talk about it as one who is a part of the government? Well, the First Lady, Senator Oluremi Tinubu, has invited the Senate President and all distinguished senators to a dinner at the presidential villa, describing the event as an interactive session intended to foster meaningful discussions on national progress. Now, in a letter, she requested their presence at the banquet hall in Asokoro at 6 p.m. on Friday, noting that the session is designed to encourage insightful dialogue on key national issues and expressed her anticipation for hosting the lawmakers. However, the invitation has drawn mixed reactions from Nigerians, with many questioning the timing of such a gathering amidst ongoing security and economic challenges, while others argue that any platform promoting constructive engagement among national leaders remains valuable. But let's watch this video. This is where the Senate President mentioned it on the floor.
Oluremi Tinubu, CON, First Lady of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. So this is like an invitation by the mother to the children on a Friday. So I wish you sumptuous meal and fruitful discussion. So the Wamako, you are looking at me as if you are going to travel, don't you? This is very important. So we all meet there on Friday. Correspondence from the villa.
So in case you're wondering, I mean, let's take our time. We're going to analyze everything that is happening. In case you're wondering, not everybody in the Senate seems to be happy with what is going on there. We do have a video of Senator Abaribe criticizing the Senate and the current APC government. Let's take a listen.
George Orwell made a very profound statement, which I will quote. He says that in times of universal deceit, telling the truth becomes a revolutionary act. We are being told every day to be patriotic. We are being told here that we shouldn't say anything against. We are being told that, oh, you shouldn't talk about the past. You should focus on the present. Yet, on this floor, rather than focus on what we're supposed to talk about, we go back to say, oh, during 2015, oh, the Chibok girls happened, and oh, we are now rescuing people. People were not rescued at that time. During Chibok, 17 local governments in Katsina were not having parleys with bandits. People in Kebbi were not leaving all the rural areas and coming to only the urban areas to stay. People in Niger were not being kidnapped. So why do we need to? At any time we need to talk about the present issues of today. We go back to start to look for excuse for our failures of today.
This is one of the most trying periods that our country is facing. Even in battle times, in war times, it's not easy to lose a brigadier general. It's not easy to lose a brigadier general. Even in battle times, it's not easy to see this mass of communities being displaced, harassed, taken hostage, and people killed in several parts of our country. Our democracy, right before our eyes, is being rubbished. Our country, right before our eyes, is losing prestige and respect, and is endangered by the day. So this is a very serious motion. And I want to briefly object to the way and manner some of the comments from the other side have been on this very serious issue. This is the Senate of the Federal Republic.
Sorry,
no,
please.
I'm coming. Let me make my views, please.
You will learn, but which other side? There is only
No.
There is only one side.
The mover of the motion. The mover of the motion. I'm coming. Before I say, please. The mover of the motion talks about.
This was Senator Dixon.
So, I mean, just contrast and juxtapose those two videos we showed you. One was a smiling Senate president, happy to announce, to read the letter of the First Lady to his colleagues, inviting them for an interactive session and dinner on Friday at 6 p.m. at the banquet hall of the presidential villa. And then another video showing Senator Einaya Abaribe representing Abia South. You know, he first started with a profound quote by George Orwell, saying that in times of crisis, speaking the truth becomes a revolutionary act. And then it goes on to speak about the state of a nation. And we also just what Senator Siriaki Dixon, Bayelsa Senator, also talking about the state of a nation and how we need to come together, you know, speak the truth. And in the longer video of Senator Einaya Abaribe, he did talk about the security lapses that happened before those students were kidnapped in Maga. He said there was intelligence that they heard that there was going to be an attack, that the military men that were there in the first place withdrew. And less than an hour after they withdrew, we saw this kidnapping take place. I mean, logically, you would want to know who was the commander, who gave the order for them to, you know, look at the whole brief and let there be consequences if there's an intelligence failure somewhere. But we're not even asking those relevant questions. We're acting as if all is well. So much so that they're not reading the room. You talk about optics, and they want to have a dinner, regardless of dinner, interactive session. I mean, it's not the time and place for it in this time of our nationhood. We saw what happened. The United States Senate seems to be more concerned about Nigeria's security situation. They did interviews with experts, people that have been affected. When the Nigerian Senate, our own Nigerian Senate, they say charity starts at home, when have they shown this type of concern beyond mere statements?
Benga, it's a sad situation we find ourselves in. And every time we come here in the mornings as journalists to look at the stories, we're also not just journalists, we're also people who have to ensure that we speak the truth and highlight what is clear and what is not clear. It is, again, poor decision making. And we would highlight it here clearly, what we mean by poor decision making. I'll give you an example. Even the Holy Book says there's time for everything. There's time to cry, there's time to laugh. Have you ever gone to a burial of somebody who may have painfully lost his life or her life, and in that burial where everybody is mourning, you start dancing?
No.
It doesn't make sense. Everybody, I'm sure everybody would scream at you, or they would chase you out of that place and so on.
It's not the right place.
You have Kebbi State.
Context. Yes.
You have Kebbi State, Maga. The parents, you just mentioned one of the parents had lost her life. People are crying. Yes, of course, the children have reunited back with their family. They've been reunited with their families. You also have another one. Don't forget, Kano State witnessed another kidnapping spree, which just happened 2 days ago, over almost 24 hours.
The Niger Catholic school. Yeah.
You also have the Catholic one. The kids are not back. Only 50 of them, they said, returned, even though that's 300, a bit, out of 300 and almost 315 or something. You have all of these things. Now you have a nation that is boiling under consistent cases of insecurity. The security guy who's on social media, was it Guamshu? I can't remember his name now for want of memory, has taken it upon himself to go and find some of these terrorists by himself. And he put out a video yesterday of a pastor and his wife who were equally kidnapped. Just recently, there are recent kidnappings here and there. And I think that if you've been saddled with the responsibility to lead as the National Assembly, where you are there for the public interest or interest, of course, of the people, when you now choose to say, oh, you know what, we've been invited for a dinner. Come on.
But maybe
where's the human sympathy?
Maybe we're too harsh, because people would argue that anything that is for national development is progress. And also, the person of the First Lady, you will recall that she's a former senator of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 3-time senator. So she's very familiar with the leadership, with the workings of the Senate and
what
the
happened?
people. One might want to argue that, okay, a meeting with the leadership of the Senate, so it can be communicated, but 109 Nigerian senators.
109?
109
for dinner?
of them.
Is that not a party?
The bill will be picked up by Nigeria's taxpayers. It looks
what
like
are you saying?
Party. So is that even the setting for an interactive session?
This morning, I just did not want to delve into this story, but now
is that the
I'm
setting?
getting more. Getting more. Maybe I would say not emotional, but I'm like,
at
why?
That dinner? Will there be whiteboards? Will there be
while you are eating,
comparing notes while you're
and
eating?
Drinking wine?
Or did they just put, interactive
and tearing turkey and fish?
Yeah.
And you are eating. Oh, they kidnapped. Don't worry, they'll be fine.
Children.
Alpha.
The optics.
The optics. Benga, we're not saying don't meet. We're not saying don't do that. As a matter of fact, if you ask me, I've said it many times here without number that there are certain things that I don't think is meant for public consumption. There are a few things that you can just discuss.
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, there's an invitation. Please check your mailboxes or something. Remember the same error last time of something will be sent to your, and then it came, and then I'm just like, wait, you're telling us to tighten our belts, but you people are, so we have to be mindful. I think it's high time where we've highlighted what is called leadership. Leadership has been a major challenge, and we've had guests who have talked about the bane of not having good leadership. Because trust me, it's like a workplace. You've not paid salaries to your workers, but you just bought a brand new Jeep. You bought 2 new cars. Let me use that word. And then your staff see you flanging. You're good. Come on, the optics are bad. So I don't think it's the right time if you ask me. But let's see what Nigerians are saying, and maybe they have a different view on some of the issues we've highlighted so far. Our favorite doc online, our favorite online doc says, while the nation bleeds, while children are kidnapped, while women are abducted, while men are getting murdered, while families mourn, the First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, invites all senators to Aso Rock for dinner on Friday to have a nice meal.
We can't be sure if it's nice. It depends on the caterer in the villa. I've not tasted their food before. But
it's called dinner.
I get his point. He said a nice meal.
Dear Nigerian Senate President, Senator Augustus, congratulations on your sumptuous dinner invitation from your mother to the Senate. This is the most important issue in the nation today. Nigerians are proud of you all.
Very sarcastic statement by Peter Aka.
The First Lady of Nigeria, Oluremi Tinubu, who only yesterday said she was mourning with the nation, has suddenly remembered how to host a dinner party at Aso Rock. A whole national tragedy is unfolding, but Friday night is for the dining with senators. Because in Nigeria, empathy is a microphone performance. The real action is always at the dinner table.
She didn't call it a party. She said interactive dinner session.
No, but she said the tweet
I know.
said
Yeah, of course.
I mean, the First Lady's invitation may appear like a harmless gesture of hospitality, but it underscores the persistent disconnect between Nigeria's political class and the everyday realities of the citizens they represent. At a time when many families are tightening their belts and contending with economic strain, the optics of senators gathering for an elegant Aso Rock dinner feel tone deaf and indulgent. Leadership is not measured by shared meals in gilded halls, but by shared burdens with the people. Until those in power begin to mirror the sacrifice of the nation they govern, gestures like this will continue to symbolize the widening gulf between authority and accountability.
The take home for me is that disconnect. Maybe they need an ordinary person outside government that, please just tell me the truth regardless of what happens. And is that not the role of the advisors? How do you think the people will take this? You can't just wake up and, make...
ISIP says when the country is struggling and citizens are facing hardship, hosting a lavish dinner with senators sends the wrong message.
Absolutely.
It raises questions about priorities and the image of our nation. Leadership is about action, not just appearances. Nigeria deserves focus on real solutions, not fancy meals. And we'll just take one last one so we can highlight the next story. Nigeria is far gone. It is insensitive and inhuman for the First Lady of a country to be dining and wining with senators on wailing taxpayers' money while their loved ones are being shot, kidnapped, and slaughtered in broad daylight. This is a time of mourning, not partying. And, I agree, because there is time for everything.
So what we can conclude is the overwhelming Nigerians, the samples that we've gotten are totally against this. And we have a government that reversed the presidential pardon list. So maybe, it's not Friday yet, maybe she might just pull off this based on overriding public interest. Why in the first place?
ASU.
NAD.
Strike. NAD. Strike. Kidnapping. Rise. You saw what those senators said. They simply made it clear that why are we not discussing the main issues? Why? Because you talked about the U.S. Senate. The U.S. Senate, you saw how they sat down. Look at how they did a detailed analysis of the insecurity in Nigeria. What did they do? They simply went ahead to invite victims, talk to the people, they took not just 1 hour, hours of incisive, intensive grilling, looking into every single thing. But when it comes back home, the country that bears the brunt, what do?
Exactly.
You spend roughly just 5-10 minutes.
No.
Okay, let's see what will happen. But then again, let's move on. That's why the other senators stood up and said, we don't understand what's going on. Why don't we focus on the main issue?
Yes.
Why are we just touching on it and leaving it?
Priorities.
109 people gathered for dinner, Benga. From where I come from, being a hospitality person, it's called a party.
Of course.
When you have a high number, there's a soiree, there's a gathering. But when you have a large number, you have more people.
There'll be entree, there will be main course, and there will be appetizer and dessert. We wait and see if this decision will be reversed. But let's move on to other matters now. Wake up story. Finally, I won't even say
no, it's not finally. It's partially.
God bless you for that. Partially. President Tinubu has submitted 3 names to the Senate for non-career ambassadors for the United States, the United Kingdom, and France, following calls and concerns over strengthening Nigeria's diplomatic ties, especially after U.S. President Donald Trump's recent remarks highlighting the importance of competent representation in international relations. The nominees include Ayodele Oke, a retired career diplomat and former Director General of the National Intelligence Agency with decades of experience in multilateral diplomacy and strategic intelligence. Lateef Kayode, a retired Army Colonel and former Director General of the State Security Service, with a distinguished career in military and domestic intelligence, and also Amin Mohammed Dalhatu, a former career diplomat and former ambassador to South Korea, known for advancing trade, culture, and political relations. While all three bring significant expertise, their selection has sparked controversy, with critics questioning the dominance of former intelligence and security officials over career diplomats, raising concerns about meritocracy, political influence, and what this might signal for the future of Nigeria's foreign service. Yes, and also one of the concerns is why not all the ambassadors?
Why just
it's
three?
taking you more than 2 years to nominate ambassadors, knowing how important they are, and then when you finally decide to nominate, you are nominating in bits and pieces. Three. France, UK, and
United States.
The United States.
Yeah, just three. But you see, this has also sparked a wide range of responses on not just social media, but of course different quarters, because everyone is saying, why are we waiting after we've waited for so long? And there's also a case of the chosen candidates, the representatives. Their cases, especially bordering on their background, who they are. There are cases of, okay, there seemed to have been a story. Take, for instance, one of them was wanted by the EFCC. And then you wonder, okay, when you are looking at the merits, does that angle, I mean, if you're going to look for a job now, Benga, and they found out that, I mean, not you though, let me not use you for example though, I mean, and they found out that this guy is looking for a job, but behind him, he was once indicted or he was once wanted by the EFCC and so on and so forth. I can tell you that could scuttle your chances of even possibly getting the job.
Wait and see. Let's not preempt the Nigerian Senate. Let's wait and see if they will flag that, and if they also have any issues with the nominees. Or are you expecting take a bow and go?
They will take a bow and go.
Okay, wait and see.
Like they do when we're growing up. Moko better. Moko better. You see.